Hello, hello. I might need a little support. I'm nervous. Thank you. I just wanted to echo Nick and Catherine and everyone's thanks to the INvolve team and Suki, and also for congratulations to everyone else who's recognized tonight on the list. So, by way of introduction, I'm Jo. Apologies to everyone who already heard me introduce all my many names at the summer party last year. But my full name is Jennifer. I've gone by my initials, J-O, since I was a pretty androgynous, sporty kid who didn't want a traditionally girly name. Or at least that's what I used to tell myself. But I actually had quite a few names to pick from, but being African with a hard-to-pronounce name really wasn't the cool thing growing up in the 90s. In adulthood, though, I always flag that my Nigerian name, the name that my childhood friends and my family refer to me as, is Toby, short for Oluwa Tobiloba, which means God is the greatest king. So by calling by calling me Toby or Great, today I now appreciate how my parents had the foresight to speak affirmations into my life on a regular basis. And tonight I'm wearing a Nigerian designer called Wani Fuga. So tonight I'm wearing a Nigerian designer called Wani Fuga, who I'm obsessed to say showcased just a few days ago at London Fashion Week. And I'm obsessed because, like the evolution about how I feel about my name, for so long Nigerians were known for really limiting and frustrating and shameful stereotypes. Whereas now, when I say I'm Nigerian, people think of AJ, the boxer, Saka, the footballer, Chimamanda, the author, or how Afrobeats has taken over the world. The list goes on. Nigerians are redefining our narrative every single day, whether it's in fashion or culture or business. And I feel like it's the same for DEI. I'm a communications expert, so let me think about this from a comms perspective. Experts say that 93% of all communications is non-verbal, and I've had to lean really hard on the verbal 7% because being Black in the workplace, and by workplace I don't just mean office, I mean anywhere that you consider work, without me ever opening my mouth, I'm in tech now, but when I was in politics, without me ever opening my mouth, when I used to go to Cannes for MIPIM, for the property conference, you used to see ladies of the night along La Croisette, and regardless of what I was wearing, my lanyard, my blazer, my conference pass didn't protect me from the assumption that I was a prostitute. When I was in networking events, I've had people assume, I've walked into a cloakroom, taken off my jacket at a networking event, another person will walk in and assume I'm the cloakroom attendant. In meetings, I constantly get people assuming that I'm the most junior in the room when, I might be the most senior. That is what happens when I don't open my mouth. So I've tended to lean towards speaking up and speaking out. Someone once said that red flags ignored today becomes tomorrow's tragedy. And I think we're seeing that play out in politics now or in this generation. So I know it's easier said than done, but my ask tonight, I beg everyone in the room to stay steadfast. I'm conscious that the reality for a lot of us is that we might feel more exposed than ever, more visible than ever, with less public or less corporate support than ever before. But we've been through worse. Those that came before us have been through worse. And I just hope that those who come next won't have to. So I'm no DEI professional and no DEI expert, but I care about community. I've launched community networks for Black professionals in the comms industry, in the financial services industry. I've held leadership roles on countless employee committees for gender, youth, racial, and LGBTQ+ communities. I've guest edited industry publications to spotlight voices that might not otherwise have been heard. And today I sit on the board of two amazing organizations, the Taylor Bennett Foundation in the communications industry and BComs in the sports media industry. They're both dedicated to supporting and increasing racially diverse talent in their respective industries. All this to say, through roles like this, I see, or we all have seen and heard and experienced enough to make us cynical, enough that I think anyone would respect if we said, I give up. But honestly, I feel like bias and ignorance, racism and hate, they're as inevitable as breathing. But if that's the case, then openness, learning, inclusion, and love are as inevitable as the air that we breathe. To have one, you have to have the other. So as demoralizing and heartbreaking the times we're living in are, I choose to look around this room and see faces that are more determined than ever to shine, that are more determined than ever to create supportive and uplifted communities. I look around this room and I'm emboldened to see people who are going to be the ones to change the narrative. Because take it from this proud Nigerian, we can and will change the narrative. I'll leave you with a saying I've said countless times in my career. It's just a bad time, it's not a bad life. Keep your heads up, everyone.